Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I hope all of you had a great time with your family and got together with loved ones and had a good dinner this Thanksgiving season. I wanted to talk for a little bit about Froglube. There's a lot of things and there's different talk on the internet going both ways about Froglube and problems with Froglube and freezing Froglube and guns gumming up and all this. So we'll tell you this, I did have a problem with Froglube, but I don't blame it on the Froglube. I pretty much feel that it was user error. So I'm going to explain to you what the problem I had was, and it was never with this. I'm going to explain to you what the problem I had was, and you can make up your own mind, but I feel it was user error, and I'll tell you how to correct the problem that I had, and I believe that you can use this all the time, and I believe you can use it in any weather. And I'll give you an example of that as well. I'll talk to you about something else. So this is my Smith & Wesson AR-15. It's got my aim point Comp M4 on there. Love it. It's an amazing sight, guys. It's amazing. This is a go-to-war gun, basically. I mean, it's just ultra reliable, and this is what I run it on. It's Froglube. So I'm getting ready here. Not too long I had to order more of this. I've got the paste too I use. But I do use the CLP now. Since I did the initial treatment, I use the CLP to wipe everything down, get it clean, and then I will heat everything up, and I will coat it in the paste, and then I'll wait an hour or longer. You can wait however long you want. And when it's dry, then you'll wipe off all the excess. And that's a big part of this, is wiping off all the excess. Let me tell you how this Froglube has helped me and why I like it so much. First of all, let me go ahead and tell you that this is awesome sling, guys. This Blue Force gear, the one that you got the little strap, you can pull it in tight or let it out and carry it either way. Just got to mention that it's awesome sling. First of all, right off the bat, after having this put away for a while and getting it out, I had a coating of rust on the birdcage flash hider. Now, that's very common because these parts tend to be made with a more inferior steel as compared to the barrel. And plus, the steel, maybe it's not even inferior steel, but it's not treated like the barrel's treated from the gun factory. So these parts are shipped in to the gun factory, and they put them on. These, like I said, this is probably a cheaper steel than what the barrel is. I would almost be willing to bet anything of that. And it's not treated and coated like the barrel of the gun is. So this will be where you'll start getting light rust, patina, and all that stuff. So one wiping down and coating of Froglube cured it. I mean, cured it completely. So you never have to worry about it. So that's one of the reasons why, if you want to know why do I like Froglube, that's just one of the reasons. Any place on your gun that would be of a not the high quality steel as everything else, like the barrel and the receiver. Anything else that's metal, this will most definitely and most assuredly protect that metal. And like I said, I got proof of that. I had a whole coating of patina on that flash hider. Now let me go ahead and give you a close up. Now there's nothing on it at all. It's just like brand new, just like it came off of the shelf. It's just like brand new. And I assure you, there was enough on there that when I picked up the gun after I had it setting for a while. When I picked the gun up, I seen it right away. Froglube just cured it, took it right off, and I coated it and never came back again. So, this AR runs great, cold weather, whatever, doesn't matter. Now let me tell you where I ran into a problem. And I feel that the problem was my own error. This is my baby here, and I'll tell you why. I'm not the biggest fan of M&Ps. I like them. I ain't got nothing against them. But M&P, I would have to say, is probably not my preferred carry gun. Got nothing against the gun. It's reliable. They run. They do what they're supposed to do. But this one in particular is the one that David Bowie, not the singer, David Bowie, the gunsmith, customized. This is a guy that has had a gun featured on, I believe it was Combat Handguns magazine. He had one of his guns featured on the cover. That's how good this guy is. And he was one of the first guys ever in the industry to start doing cuts on a slide and putting on your red dot. The name is David Bowie. Bowie Tactical Concepts. Look him up online. He did a complete job on this gun. And the trigger job is the most amazing trigger on this gun that I've ever felt in my life on a polymer gun. Every time I pull this trigger, it still amazes me to this day. I've had this for over a year, and still every time I pull this trigger, I just something inside, I just feel it inside, just smile. It's basically like a Wilson Combat 1911 trigger on a polymer gun. So let's get that out of the way. But that's why this is my baby. Now, I had been testing this gun and putting it through its paces. Okay, he stippled this and all this stuff, and there's things he did on the inside too. I had been Froglubing this gun very heavily. I was kind of like one of those people. It's like, oh, I want to protect it, and every time I'd go shoot it, I would do a full new coating, which you don't have to do every time. And after, literally, guys, like 12 to 1,400 rounds, one certain brand of ammo, Winchester White Box, had given me a couple light primer strikes. And I couldn't figure that out. Now, I know that when he did this gun, he did lighten up the spring in the striker channel, where the striker's at, the striker spring. So it could be that, maybe, right? We don't know. But just let me tell you what I seen and what I did. So those light primer strikes bothered me. It was only 2 or 3, but it was just from the one brand of ammo. It was weird, Winchester White Box. The other ammo was still going good, but this is after like 1,200 rounds. I had done like 3 full coatings of Froglube. Like the initial treatment you're supposed to do, I had like done that every time. Okay, 3 or 4 times. So what I did was, for the first time in 12 to 1,400 rounds, I field stripped the slide. I had never done that before. And what happened was, when I field stripped the slide and took the striker out, there was some residue and some gunk, and I could see a tint of green down in the striker channel, enough to where I could take it out using the end of a Q-tip. So basically what I would do is I would get the paste, I would get the slide hot, I would take a big old glob of the paste and I would put it on there, and I would let it run over, and it would go down in all the cracks and crevices into the striker channel everywhere, and I would just wipe the slide off later. I had never cleaned out the striker channel. This is why I say it's user error, not Froglube. So the gun still went 12 to 1,400 rounds, but I believe that the gunpowder, the residue, the little bits of brass that was in the striker channel, and the little tint of green I could see with a little residue of Froglube in there, I believe was enough to make that have light primer strikes on hard primers. But that was after 12 to 1,400 rounds. Up until that point, had never had a light primer strike. So what I did was I took a Q-tip, I got all the gunk out of there, re-stripped the gun down, and I used Lucas Extreme Duty CLP, and I'm going to test the same ammo, the Winchester White Box, and see if I get any light primer strikes to give a definitive answer. Was it? Now, that would be total user error, because, number one, I should not have went 12 to 1,400 rounds at any rate, with any oil or any cleaner, without field stripping the slide and cleaning the striker channel. You're always going to get debris that come in around the striker when it hits the round. There's going to be debris. There's going to be little pieces, little slivers, little flakes of like almost brass colored. There's going to be carbon. It's going to come in. It blasts everywhere. So I was really pushing that gun to go 12 to 1,400 rounds like that. It actually did way better, than I would even expect. So if it was the Froglube buildup in there, that was total user error, and I should have been cleaning the striker channel, and I hadn't done that. So yes, Froglube is good. There's a lot of people that's probably going to disagree with me and tell me problems they've had and different things, but here's what you got to understand. If you use this per the directions, you don't need much. And I'm one of those guys that always overuse. I always do. I always overuse stuff like this, because I'm always one that wants to make sure I coat it. I got to make sure, my guns, they're expensive. They're worth a lot of money. They're investments to me. So I always kind of go overboard when I coat my guns. And I had this thing heavily coated. And if you use it per the manual, though, you could take like a little hobby brush from a paint store, and you could take the slightest little bit out of the paste and rub it on there. You wouldn't even be able to make a dent in that paste, and you would cover this gun. And then you wait an hour, and then you fully wipe off all the residue. Now remember, it goes into every crack and crease and crevice when you put it on, and it instantly melts and turns to liquid when this is hot. You heat it up with a heat gun or a dryer. You have to go back to every striker channel, on every gun. You have to go into every crevice, every crack, and get all of that excess residue out. If you do as per the manual, your gun will run perfectly. I have no doubt in my mind. I've seen videos where guys have literally soaked their gun in Froglube. You can look it up on YouTube. Soaked their gun in Froglube, put it in the freezer for an entire night or 24 hours, took it to the range in the wintertime, and took it straight out of an ice chest and shot with the Froglube, and the gun ran perfectly. Now that's an extreme test that you would never even see in the real world. But that just goes to show you. And then there's guys that claim, well, I put Froglube on and it all flowed down into the trigger group and the gun's gummed up and it won't run. I'm telling you guys, if you use it per the instructions, it just takes a dab. You could just put your finger in that paste. Just put a little glob on your finger and it would cover almost this entire slide with that, I guarantee you. And then when you wipe off the excess, I don't ever believe that there would be enough to get down in the workings of the gun and gum it up. So yeah, Froglube is still good in my book. I especially like it on my AR. It works really good on there. I'm not against using Froglube on handguns, but because this one has a lighter spring in the striker channel than what the factory recommends, I went back to Lucas Gun Oil and we're going to do more testing on this gun. Okay? And we're going to see how we stand with those primers on the Winchester white box. And yeah, that's basically how I'm going to run with that. But I say Froglube is good. If you have any more questions about Froglube or how to use it or anything that I didn't cover, just mention them in the comments below, and I'll try to get back with everyone. So, all right, guys, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving, and hope you got to see your family. And just remember, man, treat everybody good because life is short. And if you got any problems with loved ones or anything, try to clear it up, because it's not worth it to hold on to that grudge. It's not worth it to hold on to the anger or the hate or the grudge. If you get over it, you're going to take that weight off your own shoulders. It's going to end up benefiting you if you take the high road. Even if you weren't the one that did wrong, if you go to a relative and you ask for peace, even if they did you wrong, it will take the weight off of your shoulders tremendously. And you'll feel much better and you'll sleep better at night, even if you were the one in the right and you go and apologize. So I don't know where that came from, but I just kind of on the tip of my mind there. But all right, guys, I hope you have a good one. See you next time. H4T, and I'm out.